You have the right to remain silent. Stay until the end and you'll discover how a single Supreme Court case gave every person in this country a shield against injustice. June 13, 1966. Inside the marble halls of the U.S. Supreme Court, 9 justices are about to announce a decision that will echo in every police station, courtroom, and arrest scene for generations to come. The case? Miranda versus Arizona. The man at the center? Ernesto Miranda, a 23-year-old with an 8th grade education who had no idea his name would become synonymous with justice itself. But this story isn't really about Miranda. It's about a moment when the highest court in the land said that every person, no matter who they are, deserves protection from the power of the state. March 13, 1963, Phoenix, Arizona. An 18-year-old woman reports being kidnapped and assaulted. Police have little to go on except a license plate description. When they trace the plate, it leads them to Ernesto Miranda. He's brought in for questioning, no lawyer, no warning about his rights. After 2 hours in that interrogation room, he signs a confession that will send him to prison for decades. But here's what makes this case extraordinary. Miranda's lawyer, Alvin Moore, sees something wrong. Why should a confession count if the person giving it doesn't know they have the right to stay silent or the right to have a lawyer present? It seems like common sense now, but in 1963, it was revolutionary thinking. Police could interrogate suspects for hours without telling them about their constitutional rights, and those confessions were used to convict people every single day. When Miranda's case reached the Supreme Court, it wasn't just about one man anymore. It was about the very soul of American justice. Chief Justice Earl Warren led a court that was asking tough questions. What good are constitutional rights if people don't know they have them? How can we call a confession voluntary if someone doesn't know they have the right to refuse? The arguments were intense. Law enforcement worried that telling suspects their rights would make it impossible to solve crimes. But civil rights advocates argued that protection from self-incrimination was meaningless if you didn't know it existed. For months, the nation waited. This wasn't just a legal decision. It was a choice about what kind of country America wanted to be. June 13, 1966, Chief Justice Warren announces the decision, 5-4 in favor of Miranda. From this day forward, anyone taken into custody must be informed of their constitutional rights. The words that would become legendary, "You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed for you." At that moment, something beautiful happened. The Supreme Court said that the Constitution isn't just words on paper. It's a living promise that protects every American, especially when they're most vulnerable. The irony? Ernesto Miranda was retried and convicted again, even without his original confession. But his name became attached to one of the most important protections in American law. Today, those Miranda warnings have been read millions of times. Every police show, every arrest, every interrogation. They all carry the echo of that June day in 1966. Think about what this really means. Because one man fought his case all the way to the Supreme Court, every person in America, rich or poor, educated or not, gets the same basic protection. You get told your rights before you're questioned. This is democracy working, not perfectly, not always fairly, but working. One case, brought by someone society had written off, changed the system for everyone. It reminds us that our rights are only as strong as our willingness to defend them. And sometimes the most important defenders come from the most unexpected places. The next time you hear those words, "You have the right to remain silent," remember Ernesto Miranda. Remember that behind every protection we have is someone who fought for it, often at great personal cost. What rights are you taking for granted today? What injustices do you see that need someone brave enough to challenge them? Share your thoughts in the comments, because the fight for justice never really ends. It just passes to the next generation. And tomorrow, I'll share another story of someone who refused to accept that's just how things are and changed the world because of it. You won't believe how one person's simple act of courage created ripples that are still spreading today. If this story of constitutional courage inspired you, hit that like button and subscribe to History Sparks, because every day, someone somewhere is standing up for what's right. And those stories deserve to be told. Remember, your rights matter, your voice matters, and sometimes the most important changes start with just one person willing to say, "This isn't right."